Hello Virgo and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, and I'll jump into those in just a second. I have a tarot deck that we'll be using already shuffled, as well as the decks that I'll be using in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, so do remember to take what resonates and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Virgo. In your recent past, you have heightened your vitality with the Magician in reverse. Something in your recent past was holding you back or holding you down. It was keeping you from being able to manifest and create whatever it is that you are wanting to manifest or create. This could be the relationship you want. It could be the career you want, the financial situation that you want, whatever it is. But it was like you were trying to raise your vibration. I feel like maybe trying to do the healing, trying to do the spiritual work, but something was pulling or holding you back. Now, in your current energy, you have intuition with the High Priestess. I thought this was kind of a funny message because that means the same thing, right? You have kind of like your higher self functions as your intuition, and then you have literally the card intuition. I feel like you are being, whether or not you realize it, heavily guided right now. I feel like you're on the path to something. I don't know what that is. You're on a journey right now. We're always on a journey, but specifically in regard to whatever you're trying to manifest, you're on the journey of trying to create it. To you, it might feel like you're behind, or it might feel like you have no idea what you're doing, or you might feel like you're even in energy of feeling like you failed or are failing. But I feel like what this message is saying is that everything is actually happening exactly as it needs to. Because then in your immediate future, you have clear endeavor with the Page of Cups. Now, the Page of Cups to me is like a divine guidance. It can still be intuitive guidance, but I feel like it's like actual divine guidance that you're receiving. And so I feel like whether or not you know it, you're clearing the path for something. You're clearing the path and your energy for something to be able to manifest into your world. But I don't know what that is yet. Make sure that was on because I had to restart your reading because it was off. Let's start, Virgo, by looking at your recent past, clarifying heighten your vitality with the Magician in reverse. This is for Virgo's recent past, clarifying heighten your vitality with the Magician in reverse. Recent past for Virgo, please. Recent past for Virgo, please. There's that Magician. 5 of Cups in reverse with the Magician, the 7 of Wands in reverse, and the 9 of Swords in reverse. Okay. You, Virgo, were working through a lot of disappointment in your recent past. I feel like things, it's like things were not working out the way that you wanted to do. It just like weren't working out, like in general. That's what it felt like. And it was almost like you were faced with like disappointment after disappointment. Now, with the 7 of Wands in reverse, that can be an energy of, when we're faced with disappointment, we can often then start to doubt ourselves and our path as a whole. We can start to believe that we're on the wrong path. We can start to believe that we're doing the wrong thing, or that we're, not good enough, or whatever the case is. Then you have this 9 of Swords in reverse, which is an energy of working through fears, doubts, and insecurities. Specifically insecurities, I feel like were a big theme in your recent past, because when you're disappointed and things don't work out the way that you thought, I feel like, that often brings up insecurities, right? Because then you start to blame yourself and you say, well, I wasn't good enough, or I didn't try hard enough, or I wasn't talented enough, or whatever the case is. When in reality, sure, there might be truths about how you need to adjust, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not good enough or capable enough. That I do feel like your recent past was a lot of disappointment, but I feel like that disappointment happened for a reason. So let's look more, Virgo, at your recent past here. This is recent past for Virgo. the Queen of Swords in reverse, and the Ace of Cups in reverse. I feel like you experienced either so much disappointment or like a major disappointment. It could have been like a lot of little things that disappointed you or something major that disappointed you. And it almost kind of it got you into an energy of almost closing your heart off to the belief that things were ever going to work out for you. I feel like it really started feeling like your power was getting taken away. You started really heavily doubting, again, like yourself and whether you were good enough. And whether or not you realized it, you kind of started closing your heart off to whatever it is that that's meant for you, like that's still possible for you. Now, I feel like I want to know what it is that was holding you back. What was holding Virgo back in the recent past? Holding Virgo back in their recent past, please. This is recent past for Virgo. Queen of Wands, Temperance, Queen of Cups in reverse. Didn't really answer my question. Oh, yes, it did. Okay. So your recent past was it just felt like no matter what action you took, what decisions you made, it always kind of left you in this Queen of Cups in reverse energy. Just like this energy of like, wow, things are not working out, things are not happening the way that I wanted. Like again, like almost like your fears and your doubts and your insecurities were being validated through these disappointments. Now, those fears and those insecurities were what were holding you back. So something had to, it's almost like these disappointments had to happen to bring these fears and insecurities to the surface so that they could be addressed and worked through so that they no longer controlled you. I talk about this in every single one of my readings. 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions come from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way that we interact with our reality is conscious. And so oftentimes we don't even realize, because that subconscious is where our deepest fears, doubts, and insecurities lie. And if 95% of how we interact with our reality is stemming from that, sometimes we don't even realize how our insecurities and fears are actually impacting our decision making more than we're consciously aware of. And then furthermore, we don't realize how much those then start to create our reality instead of us being able to create the reality that we ultimately want. And so what was holding you back from being able to create the reality that you want, Virgo, was you, right? And I'm not saying you did anything wrong or that it's your fault or anything like that, because the way that we believe in our insecurities and our fear, that's going to be a product of your experience. It's going to be a product of how you've internalized your experiences that you've had. So if you feel like you're not good enough or you're not capable enough or that it's not possible, then that, is not your fault. That's been a product of how you've internalized your experience. But if you want to create a different reality for yourself, you've got to get to the core reason why those beliefs exist so that you can heal them so that they don't control you anymore. That makes sense. All right, current energy for Virgo, clarifying intuition with the High Priestess. This is for Virgo's current energy, clarifying High Priestess with intuition. This reading is for Virgo's current energy, please. And it is true. The only thing that can hold you back, Virgo, in this life is you. Ooh, okay. Page of Swords in reverse with the Chariot in reverse and the Ace of Wands. I feel like you've lost a lot of maybe some excitement and passion for the journey that you're on. Maybe through this disappointment, you kind of feel like maybe you're like, man, I should just be alone forever, which there is nothing wrong with being alone. If that is what you choose, but are you choosing that because you don't think that the other is possible for you, right? Or you're like, I might as well just stay in this crappy job I hate because every time I try to move forward from it, disappointment happens or whatever the case is. And I feel like what you don't realize is when we're trying to manifest and create any kind of reality for ourselves, what's going to happen is we are going to hit resistance because our limiting beliefs are going to come up, our insecurities are going to come up. And in those moments where we reach that resistance, we have a choice. And that choice is we either allow that resistance to pull us back to things that don't really serve us, or we choose to lean more on faith that we are deserving and that we are capable and the universe is supporting us to get to whatever it is that we're wanting. So what I'm getting at is I do feel like through your current energy, you're really being guided through quite a bit of resistance. So if you feel like you're facing like copious amounts of failure or disappointment or loss or lack or whatever the case is, just know that how you handle that is going to determine what your future looks like. And you have a lot more power than you think you do. Current energy for Virgo, please. Current energy for Virgo, please. That's literally working through resistance. With the Five of Wands in reverse. Okay, and there's that Magician in reverse on the Magician in reverse on the back of the deck, and then you have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. That just kind of flew out there. But the cards I want to focus the most on are this Nine of Pentacles, Ace of Cups in reverse, Lovers, and Devil in reverse. I think before we move forward with this reading, what we need to do is take a step back, and I want you to realize that the first step to creating the life of your dreams is believing that it is possible. Now, taking a step out of whether or not you believe you're deserving or you're capable, looking at it as, is this possible in general in this world? And then I want you to look at, there's probably someone else that you admire, that you know of, who is living the life that you want or who has what it is that you want, the relationship that you're hoping for. I'm not talking about the specific person, but like the type of relationship you're looking for, or the type of financial success you're looking for, or the type of career you're looking for, whatever it is. And if you find someone in this world who is, has what it is that you want, you can then understand that it's possible. Now, once you realize it's possible, you then have to start to work through all of the reasons you don't think it's possible for you. And that's the hardest part, because whenever we look at other people's success or other people's, relationships that we want, we can have a tendency to get kind of jealous and say, well, I want that, or that's, why do they have what I want and I don't? And in reality, you want to look at that as how, almost like, not saying you ever want to model your journey off of anybody else, but when you can look at it, say, oftentimes the most successful people out there, they became successful because they freaking knew they were going to be. They just knew it. They knew it. Now, whether that's because they had an entitled upbringing, or they had opportunities that you didn't, that's beside the point. They knew it was possible because of the way that their life unfolded, right? Now, you have the disadvantage of not knowing it's possible for you because you didn't have that same experience in your past, so your belief system is going to be different. But here's the thing. You have the power to change your belief system to believe that it is possible for you. So that's what I feel like this is really about, is getting down to the nitty-gritty of, okay, if I'm not living the life of my dreams, it is because a part of me does not think it is possible for me. What about my belief system do I need to change so that I can start to realize that the life of my dreams is absolutely possible for me? If it's possible for someone else, then it is absolutely possible for me. And I feel like there's this need to not know that it's possible for you, but that you are deserving of it. You should be living a life of your dreams. You deserve to live the life of your dreams. You're meant to live the life of your dreams. That's why you're so discontent with the life that you have been living, is because it's not the life that you want. And so you have to understand that there's power in that and there's meaning behind that. And although things might not go exactly as you think they will, and although the path might not unfold exactly as you think it should, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get there. It just means that you're going to have to make it happen by doing the inner work and leaning into faith and believing the universe has your back in order to create it. I hope that makes sense. That was kind of a pretty lengthy message. Current energy for Virgo, please. Current energy for Virgo, please. And now I say all of that because I know that that was like more of advice than like an actual message. I say all of that to say that right now I feel like you're in situations where the fact that it doesn't feel possible is feeling very real. Like it feels very real to you that it doesn't feel possible right now. Again, you probably are experiencing failure or loneliness or loss or lack in pretty intense ways that's making you believe that the life that you want isn't possible. But don't believe your circumstances. Believe what you want. Current energy for Virgo, please. Knight of Swords in reverse with the Death and the Ten of Cups in reverse. Okay. Okay. This is a lot about your expectations, because I think if you've watched so far in this reading, Virgo, it's pretty safe to say that things have not gone the way that you expected. Things have not gone the way that you'd hoped. Things have not gone the way that you prayed for or wished for, or whatever the case is. But I feel like what you're needing to understand is you're not there yet. You're in the middle of the journey. So just because things haven't worked out yet, it does not mean that they are not working out. It does not mean that your prayers are not going to be answered. It does not mean that things that you're wanting to create into this world are not happening. It just means that they have not happened yet. And the hardest thing during those times where they haven't happened yet is to hold on to the faith that they will. Now, this is where I want to take a step back and understand and have you understand that I am not talking about a specific path. I'm not saying that the specific person that you want is going to come back, or that a specific relationship is going to work out, or that a specific, amount of money is going to come your way. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that the universe has a plan for you to get you to your soul's desires, and you have to work through all of the reasons why you don't think that's possible and release your expectations of how you think things should go in order to create that reality. And whatever you end up is going to be a hell of a lot better than wherever you thought you wanted to end up, right? The universe knows what we want way better than we do. So right now is kind of a time for you to really try to slow down and tap into your inner guidance. Because I feel like if you don't tap into your inner guidance, things can get a little bit chaotic and you might start making decisions that aren't really what's best for you, because you are experiencing so much of your fear and your limiting beliefs and your reality right now. So learning to tap into that inner guidance is absolutely key. And then letting go of expectations. That's been a big theme for this reading. All right, immediate future for Virgo, clarifying clear endeavor with the Page of Cups. This is for Virgo's immediate future, clarifying clear endeavor with the Page of Cups. This is for Virgo's immediate future, please. World in reverse. So 8 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, 2 of Wands in reverse, and the World in reverse. The only reason that things haven't worked out the way that you wanted them to is because those things weren't meant for you in the long run. What is meant for you will never, ever pass you. And if something is meant for you, it will find its way back to you. But you have to get to a point where you understand that the heartbreak and the pain that we experience in this life is here to teach us something. It's here to teach us, that it's here to teach us that, how do I say that? Okay. how do I say that? Because I feel like that could come off as really triggering. I'm gonna back up. There are 3 things in this world that are constants, that are guaranteed, and that is pain, constant work, and uncertainty. Those are 3 things that we cannot avoid no matter what we do. Pain, constant work, and not suffering, uncertainty. You will always experience pain. You will always be constantly working and investing your energy into something, and you will always experience uncertainty. Oftentimes, we look for things in our life, relationships, a certain amount of material wealth, whatever the case is, because we think that whatever it is that we're trying to attract is going to alleviate one of those 3 things. And what we actually have to realize is that our faith in the universe, and the more that we learn to build and strengthen that faith, is what is the only thing that's not going to eliminate those things from our life, but is gonna make it a hell of a lot easier for us to navigate those things. And so what I'm trying to get at here is that you have had things not go your way, right? And you've experienced a lot of pain, and you've experienced a lot of uncertainty. And so sometimes what can happen is we can then put all of our time and energy into trying to look for something in the future to bring us the almost like the relief of what our past has created. And what that does is that keeps us on this constant loop of searching for the next thing, the next promotion, the next advancement, the next relationship, the next stage in our relationship even. And we miss the point of the journey, because the biggest thing about this reading right now is you're in the middle of a journey. Now, when I talk about your immediate future, it is important to understand that when you're creating the life of your dreams, you have to also embrace where you're at right now. I don't know if you've ever heard that saying. It's like, be grateful for where you're at and excited about where you're going. Because if you are not grateful for where you stand right now, if you are not able to see the good in where you're at right now, you're never going to be satisfied by the next step. And when that is the case, you will inevitably sabotage your abundance. And so I feel like this is a pretty intense message, so I hope you guys are bearing with me. But when we're pursuing our path and we're facing that resistance, it's, like I said, it's impossible to know, or it's important to know that what you want is possible, right? But then it's also important to know, and something that a lot of people really don't want to hear, is that whatever you're trying to create is not going to alleviate pain, constant work, or uncertainty. Now, that does not mean you can't create the life of your dreams, and that does not mean you can't enjoy it to its fullest. But what it does mean is the more that you search for the alleviation of one of those 3 things and whatever it is you're trying to create, the further you are from manifesting it into your reality. That's what this is saying. The more you think you need something, the more you think you need it to be happy or to alleviate pain, constant work, or uncertainty, the further away you are from receiving it into your life. And so right now, as you're working through all of this and you're doing the inner work and you're facing the resistance, you are clearing your path to be able to attract it into your life, because you no longer have an attachment to it. I feel like that was a really long-winded way of saying that whatever it is that you're working toward is absolutely capable of finding you. But it's not going to find you until you realize that it's not going to alleviate pain, constant work, or uncertainty. And anything that we do lean on to alleviate one of those 3 things will inevitably end in pain or uncertainty. So anything that we lean on to alleviate those 3 things will eventually lead to one of those 3 things. And so that's why things have fallen apart in the past, because you were leaning on them to, so on and so forth. I hope this is making sense, because this is kind of feels a little convoluted on my end, but all right, immediate future for Virgo, please. This is immediate future for Virgo. You have clear endeavor with the Page of Cups, which I like to see. You have the Empress with the Nine of Swords. The more that you put yourself first and that you choose yourself and that you stand up for what you believe and you believe in what it is that you want to create and you take steps in that direction, the more fear, insecurity, and doubt that you're going to experience. If there's anything that I've learned in this world is that the second that I take a step forward, literally like the next second, I'm experiencing so much fear, doubt, and insecurity in regard to that. Like when I started experiencing success on my channel and no longer needing to rely on anything else out externally for like financial support, I immediately was like, oh my gosh, I'm no good at this. I should delete my channel. Like your fears and your insecurities and your doubts, I mean, imposter syndrome, all of that is going to try to pull you back into old cycles and into things that don't serve you. So understand that as you move forward on your path, and you are moving forward whether it feels like it or not, but as you move forward on your path, you will realize that every single, either right before or right after, and sometimes both, something good happens, you're going to be faced with a lot of fear, doubt, and insecurity, and it's important that you don't let that decide your movements, choices, and decisions. All right, immediate future for Virgo, please. This is immediate future for Virgo, please. Immediate future for Virgo. The Temperance. And the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. I like that. This is a fantastic way to end this reading. If you work through the blockages with the Nine of Wands in reverse, and you have patience, your Ten of Pentacles is guaranteed. The abundance that you're wanting is guaranteed. But you got to work through the blockages, and you've got to be patient with it. And I feel like that message of like, you know, the more you think you need it, the further you are away from it is part of the blockages that you're working through. So if you can work through the blockages, which I feel like you are, and you have the patience and you lean on the universe with faith, your Ten of Pentacles is guaranteed. That's a really good way to end this reading because I feel like we got kind of negative there for a second, which obviously wasn't my intention. All right. For those of you who don't know, yes, I am both a tarot reader, but I am also a spiritual coach. And so in this extended, I am going to dive into some advice on how to handle the energy, some tools to work through what it is that you're going through. So any information on that extended is in the description box below. I'm going to dive into the messages, do a little bit of clarification, then I have an actual advice card to pull at the end as well. Thank you so much, Virgo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. Bye, Virgo.